The Primus Athenium records recount the horrors of the great corporate wars of the 22nd century, during which massive nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare ravaged the world. Nations crumbled into oblivion, thrusting humanity into a relentless struggle for survival. In this dystopian reality, a staggering 85% of the world's remaining population exists in a nightmarish realm marked by desolation and despair. Toxic clouds lay waste to the land, decimating vegetation and wildlife. Meanwhile, the oceans, once teeming with life, have transformed into a vast pit of green and black sludge, grotesquely twisting life into morbid abominations. For those who endure on the surface, they've morphed into unrecognizable, grotesque, and primitive beings. Humanity itself teeters on the brink of extinction, except for the fortunate few who dwell in the towering megacorporate towers that reach high into the clouds above. Here, life is servitude to the all-powerful corporation, and in return, one can hope for the basic necessities of fresh air, water, nutrition, and shelter. However, a single misstep could send one plummeting into the abyss below. I can still vividly recall the bone-chilling shiver that coursed down my spine when the news arrived. A digital banner materialized on my desktop, announcing my promotion to the ranks of commercial sales. They assured me that my name would now grace the door of a spacious office perched high in the skyscraper, piercing the cloud-studded sky. The promotion was met with a collective sigh of relief from the floor staff, as if I had transcended into a realm of boundless opportunity, far above the bleak and savage world beneath us. Stepping into my new office, I gazed out at the awe-inspiring view, marveling at the world beyond as I readied myself to climb the corporate ladder. It felt like a dream come true, a testament to my unwavering hard work and dedication. The news of my promotion brought a glimmer of hope to my colleagues on the floor, who saw it as evidence that persistence and excellence could indeed lead to upward mobility. Turning my attention away from the breathtaking view, I began to take in the opulence of the corporate office itself. The room was bathed in natural light, with the warm sun streaming in, casting a golden hue on the sleek, minimalist decor. The walls were adorned with tasteful modern art, and the luxurious carpet underfoot felt as soft as a cloud. A massive mahogany desk commanded the center of the room, a symbol of power and authority. It was immaculately organized, with a few elegant stationery items and a state-of-the-art computer setup, ready to be put to use. The chair behind the desk was a masterpiece of ergonomic design, promising comfort during the long hours ahead. Beyond the desk, the bookshelf showcased an array of leather-bound volumes, revealing the occupant's cultivated intellect. The shelves held a mix of business books, classic literature, and the occasional piece of art, providing a glimpse into the occupant's tastes and interests. The room exuded an air of sophistication and success, and I couldn't help but feel a blend of awe and inspiration as I took in my new surroundings. This was a realm of privilege and power, a place where decisions that shaped the world were made, and I eagerly anticipated making my mark in this extraordinary office that was now mine. A knock on the door interrupted my thoughts as Sarah Martinez entered. Her pale complexion was framed by her blonde hair and professional attire. "I've brought in the work analysis reports for the quarter. Mr. Schwartz, the chief commercial officer, has requested a 3,000-word strategy by Tuesday at 3 p.m. Additionally, I need your signature here," Sarah said, placing the reports on my desk, along with a best wishes card. The card was addressed to my previous superior, Mr. John Pierce. It simply read, "Congratulations, John, on your new role as Assistant Commercial Officer." The card was adorned with the names of various colleagues, each offering their congratulations. I swiftly signed the card and handed it back to Sarah, The remainder of the day passed without incident, as I reviewed the quarterly reports and indulged in the executive Tier 3 lunch option, featuring sushi, avocado, and sourdough toast. Returning to my old apartment, I found a stack of unfolded boxes and a bottle of whiskey awaiting me. As a newly promoted supervisor, I was entitled to a weekly whiskey ration and a new apartment, adding to the day's unexpected blessings. Upon entering my apartment and turning on the lights, a figure suddenly lunged at me, pinning me against the wall and covering my mouth with a firm hand. I struggled, but the figure's strength was overwhelming. "Quiet!" the figure hissed, relaxing its grip. I soon recognized the figure as John, his face flushed and sweaty, his eyes darting nervously around the room. "Are you alone?" John whispered. I nodded, confirming that I was alone. "Listen, I'm gonna release you, but don't scream or I'll have no choice," John warned, his gaze fixed on a silver letter opener. He released me and stepped back. "What's going on, John? You should be celebrating in the executive lounge," I whispered. "Nate, they didn't promote me. They terminated me. Do you know what that means? I'm out. They'll cast me down with the cannibals below," John said, tears in his eyes. I had heard such tales before, but they'd always seemed like office myths. I adjusted my tie and attempted to reassure him. "John, they don't just cast people out. They've invested too much in you," I tried to comfort him. John took a step closer, his eyes filled with dread. "The law of diminishing returns, Nate. I've reached my optimal output." My stomach did a flip as I could taste the remnants of the sushi and bile in the back of my throat. I walked to my office chair and sat down, placing the whiskey on my computer desk. "You want a drink?" I said, peering back up to John. He nodded approvingly while I uncapped the bottle and poured the contents into 2 coffee mugs. "You don't have proper glasses?" John said as I handed him one of the coffee mugs. "Until this morning, I was just another corporate drone. I got these mugs as part of the Cincinnati project," I said, taking a sip of the whiskey. "That's right. You were good on that project. Made sure you and the team got those mugs for a job well done," John said, lifting the mug to his mouth. As the whiskey flowed, he gradually relaxed. He even set the letter opener aside. I continued to reassure him, offering to write him a professional reference that could open doors in other departments. The whiskey did its work, making him more receptive to the idea of a positive outcome. "I need to piss," John said, stumbling towards the bathroom. As he closed the door, I took the opportunity to type a message to corporate security before turning off the computer monitor. After a few moments of silence, the toilet flushed, and John walked back into the living area. "Whew, that's some good stuff," John said as he sat back down on the futon. "Only the best for my mentor," I said with a fake smile. As if on cue, a commotion outside my door grew louder as heavy boots and equipment moved down the hallway. John immediately sat up, the drunken stupor quickly replaced by a look of dread. "What the fuck did you do?" John said nervously. In a flash, the door of the apartment came crashing open as the armored-clad security team made entry. John tried to go for the letter opener, but was stopped by a heavy baton blow to his face, sending several teeth cascading off the apartment wall. The security team pounced on John, restraining his hands behind his back. One of the gas mask-wearing officers approached me. "Are you injured?" the officer inquired. "Sir, are you injured in any way?" the officer said through the mask. "I'm okay," I said, climbing to my feet. "Corporate's granted you 2 days of mental trauma recuperation. Corporate would also like to extend 2 coffee coupons as a reward for your cooperation." "Thank you, officer. Just doing my part," I said, brushing the dust from my suit. One of the officers grabbed John by the hair, forcing him to look directly at me. "Apologize," the security officer demanded. John's pale, sweaty face looked up at me, a toothless smile forming. "I'm sorry," he said as blood trickled down his cheeks. The security team then dragged him out of my apartment and into the hallway. After taking the 2 days of mental recuperation, I returned to my office with a new sense of worth. I gingerly sipped the oat milk and lavender-infused espresso while reviewing performance reports at my desk. The encounter with John was violent, but he ultimately deserved what he got for failing in his duties. There would be a new way of doing things with me at the helm. I contemplated asking Sarah out for drinks at the supervisor lounge, but the thought was interrupted when a new email popped up in my mailbox. Setting the espresso down, I opened the message to see a video pop up on my monitor. The footage was grainy, likely taken from one of our CCTV setups. The video focused on a man in the center of a concrete room with large steel doors. The man was crying and begging towards the camera, which soon zoomed in to reveal John's face. Behind him, the large steel doors began to open, allowing a thick, yellowish cloud to fill the room. A group of disfigured forms stepped out of the cloud, holding sharp, rusty weapons at the ready. John looked at the forms and back toward the camera, his eyes filled with terror as the group walked closer. The camera zoomed in on John as tears streamed down his face, his words becoming incomprehensible. The group lurched forward, seizing him with their mangled hands. Sharp, rusty blades chopped and sawed. Within seconds, John was disemboweled, quartered, and filleted. The group of savages, drenched in blood, fought over scraps of viscera that lined the concrete floor. The large savage stared at the camera with a menacing face full of jagged teeth. Then, the screen went black. I dropped to my knees, vomiting on the floor. A cold sweat broke out across my forehead as deep gulps of air filled my lungs. I looked at the message in the email, which read, "Warning, your optimal performance is in decline. You have 10 days to add value." I sat on the floor, the room starting to spiral as panic washed across my face. A vision of John came to me. He spoke through a mouthful of blood and crushed teeth. "The law of diminishing returns, Nate." Then a sinister smile formed across his face.